City Council to order. We have a quorum of council members. So at this time, if you please rise for the invocation and the pledge for the flag. Prayer. Father, thank you again for this day and this chance of self-governance. We ask you to lead, guide, direct us to do what is good in your sight, Father. We ask your protection over our first responders and police officers and everyone who helps make this city work. We ask this in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
honor the Texas flag.
Pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
All right. At this time, I believe we have public comments from Mr. Terry Priest. You have the floor, sir. This one.
Need a motion hold, Mr. Priest. There you go.
I have some more visual aids for you.
Hey, that's awesome for people. Really big team. Oh, boy. Oh, shit. Oh. My wife liked that.
Somebody's got a guard.
There you go. Thank you, sir.
Well, my wife's gonna like that. This likes it.
Thank you for that.
Reason for that will come apparent in a minute. My name is Terry Priest. I live at 216 Cheyenne Trail North, Rome, Texas. I've got 3 items I'd like to bring to the table tonight. Number 1 is I'd like to see a little more discussion on what to do with dispose of some of the city property. We've got the old police station, we've got Old City Hall, we've got some residential lots, I think. And then we have school next door. I know some of this was talked about earlier, it has been discussed, but it's been kind of pushed back, I think. And I'd like to see if there isn't some resolution to some of that, to get some of that property back into a taxable configuration. I know it takes a little more, Carmen will pull you in on this, it takes a little more to sell city property, but it can be done. So that's my first item. I'd like to see some more discussion on those. Number 2, I raise daylilies. That's what I brought those for. And I'd like to, if it's possible, to donate some to the butterfly park, the butterfly bed over at the city park. The only consideration I'd have to have is at least have some water during the summer. I've got hundreds of them. These are the ones I potted up last year. They're now blooming, and I had some yellow ones, but the yellow ones didn't quite open up yet, so I brought the 2 orange ones. Also along those lines, if there's some funds available under the beautification fund, could those be used for the city park flower bed? If that's possible. That's number 2. Number 3, I'm looking for a possible location for a farmer's market. I don't know whether the city would allow us to use city property for a farmer's market. I was thinking about the old police station. That lot over there has a lot of traffic that goes by. It wouldn't be for this year. It's too late in the season to try to start that, but possibly sometime next year. As you can see, I do raise a few zucchini squash. I thank you. That's all.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. All right, I believe that's all the input we have. All right, moving on to the consent agenda. Or, excuse me, announcements. Again, city office will be closed on the 19th. Mr. Lofton, would you like to expound on the summer safety camp?
Yeah, I'm Paul's assistant with that. I just want to let everyone know that the library, we've hired a new librarian, which is great news. Took a lot of pressure off and was actually afraid we were going to have to cancel the reading program for the summer, but we've got a librarian. Her name's Lisa Reed. She lives here in the city of Rome. And so hopefully that'll work out long term. And so we're also still looking for board members to help us out. We've got some aging board members and they're trying to kind of step back from what's going on. And I certainly understand that. And so if you're interested in being on the library board, please contact me.
All right, thank you. And again, just to remind everybody that these annual splash days will be on the 27th of this month. So that date was changed and sent out over Rome Connect. So just reminding everybody. And another last announcement, we brought up last time that we were going to ask TxDOT about the status of the signal lights in front of Bywell Estates. And we got an answer back. They're up there working on it. So work is continuing. I'm sure it's going to take stages to get it completed, but we're keeping an eye on it and they are still working on it. Are there any other announcements from council? Nope. Okay. Now moving on to the consent agenda. Now, do I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
We have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. All right, monthly staff reports. I believe we have a staff report from the police chief. Give the microphone. Cool.
There you
Okay. Now it's working?
Yes, sorry.
Mayor, council, thank you. Mayor, last council meeting, we talked about a couple of grants the police department was awarded for the accreditation, for the first aid kits and for some specific training. This, last month, we were also given another grant from the state, by body armor. So as you're aware, it's not an inexpensive thing. So it's nice that we were able to get that at a cost savings to the city. To speak on the summer safety camp, police department and the fire department have paired up with the community library to host our first annual summer safety camp. It's geared towards kids right now between the ages of 7 and I think we went to 13, 7 to 13. Right now it's our first one. We're going to be going an hour a day, 4 days out of the week. And we're going to cover some of the safety topics like water safety, 911 use. Fire Chief Estes has volunteered use of one of their facilities so that we can practice escaping from a room in case there's ever a fire and get a physical aspect going to it. So we're hoping we get a positive community feedback from it and something that we can continue for the summers to come.
Thank you. Moving on. We have at this time, we will have a public hearing for the proposed annexation by the city of Rome, Texas of one tract of land, legal description being A 817 J.C. Tatum, 10.00 acres, and is located at 771 Hickory Street in Rome, Texas. It is now 6:09. I would like to open the floor for public comments. We have no comments from the public, and we'll close this hearing again at 6:09. We will have another public hearing considering a request for a change in zoning of legal description being acres A 817 J.C. Tatum, 10.00 acres, and is located at 771 Hickory Street, Rome, Texas. I'll open up the floor at this time. It is 6:09. We have no public comments for that, and we'll close at 6:09. All right, the next public hearing we will open floor for is a proposed preliminary plat by the city of Rome, Texas of lots A 817 J.C. Tatum, 10.00 acres. It is now 6:09. We will open the floor. Nothing heard. It is now 6:10. We'll close the public hearing for that item. And finally, a proposed final plat, one tract being legally described as tract acres A743 Smith CSL 1.38 acres. We will open it up at 6:10. All right, we have no public comments for that item. I will close the hearing at 6:10. All right, we will move on now to our regular agenda. Item number A is the annexation services agreement for Hickory Meadows.
Thank you, Mayor. You will recall, council members that were at the last meeting, that all these items were tabled from our last conversation, but I do see that we have Mr. Barnes from Structure Builders Group in the back and his associate. If you have any questions, do I want to step to the mic, gentlemen, just in case? If you'll look behind tab number 7 in your binder, you will notice that Stevie has added for you all subtabs. So look behind A through F. All has to do with the annexation, the rezoning, the development services plan, et cetera, for that additional 10 acres that Mr. Barnes and his group has acquired. You'll recall 2 years ago in 2024, we annexed in the 10 acres next door to it. We put a services plan on it. It has a, it has a plan district on it so that it has specific design standards. And this is just going to be mirrored on the 10 acres that's next door, but I'm sure he can answer questions. It's over by well number 5 off of Hickory.
Oh, I
Yeah.
okay.
Mhm. Just kind of in the bend. So if you have any questions, we're happy to answer those for you. Everything that is in this agreement is mirrored from the agreement that we approved 2 years ago for said development. There were a couple of changes to create a cut-through road so that emergency services could get in and out just a little bit easier. So I think the house count is down to 106 in that.
106 right now, yes.
So that seems to work well with our fire staff and our engineering staff, so we recommend approval.
So we just mirrored the 10 acres that you had for the houses too, and you just kind of flipped it?
Yes,
Okay.
that's correct.
So the only change is you just put an emergency street in there for emergency services, right? Basically,
So the change was, we picked up the additional 10 acres there to go ahead and develop that whole 20-acre tract.
all right.
It was originally 20 acres. It got broken up into 2 10-acre tracts. We purchased 10, got that approved through the city. And now we're bringing in that additional 10 acres to develop.
Mr. Finch, if you'll look at this, they originally owned this piece. You'll see it here. I know it's very small, but I cannot get the TVs to work, so I apologize. And so when he put in the longer block, the staff team asked that they add a cut through here so that the emergency services wouldn't have to travel all the way down and or come back. They can make a cut through to get to a particular home. So
Okay.
that just reduced by 2 lots what had been submitted when we first started having conversations.
Okay.
But on your agenda, you will see that this owned anything from the last meeting, so you can consider it all at once. Yes.
Is there any other discussion on this item? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I make a motion to approve the annexation services plan for Hickory Meadows, additional 10 acres.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Vote is unanimous. Thank you. Moving to item number B. Proposed annexation by the city of Rome, Texas of one tract of land, legal description being A 817 J.C. Tatum 10.00 acres and is located at 771 Hickory Street, Rome, Texas 76078. So this is the next,
This is the second part. Yes, this would be
Yeah.
the annexation itself, and there is the documentation behind 7B if you need to review all of those.
the under B.
You'll see it's got ordinance 2026-08.
Is there any discussion with council? If not, I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-08, annexation of acres A 817 J.C. Tatum, 10 acres.
Do I have a second?
Aye. Second.
All in favor?
Sorry. Aye.
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 Thank you. Vote carried unanimous. All right, moving to item C, considering a request for a change in zoning. Should council take favorable action of annexation, which we did, of legal description being acres, A 817 JC Tatum 10.00 acres and is located 771 Acre Street for the change in zoning.
So under tab C,
Tab C.
we will see the information for this portion. This again mirrors, makes a plan development, which allows for the lot sizes that we discussed with the developer prior to his acquiring the additional 10 acres. There's nothing that's changed from what we approved 2 years ago to today, and it is ordinance number 2026-09.
Any discussion from council? None? All right, I'll open the floor for a motion.
Make a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-09 to update the zoning on property A 817 JC Tatum, 10 acres from agriculture upon annexation to planned development.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you. Moving to D, proposed preliminary plat by the city of Rome, Texas for lots A 817 JC Tatum 10.00 acres. Seven. We'll have item D in your packet. If there any discussion on this, if not, I will entertain a motion.
Make a motion to approve the preliminary plat of legal acres A 817 JC Tatum, 10 acres.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you.
And Mayor, if I could point of order, I misspoke. E is actually a different development, so if we could skip that one and go to F.
All right, let's go to F. It's the first amendment to developer agreement for Hickory Meadows. There questions from council?
What's the amendment?
No, it's, all it does is adds the additional 10 acres.
Oh,
It keeps the
okay.
agreement the same as it was in 2024. It just adds the 10 acres in addition to for a total of 20.
Okay.
There's no discussion or questions. I'll entertain a motion.
I make a motion to approve the First Amendment to the Hickory Meadows Developers Agreement.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Unanimous.
Thank you, council.
All right, we go back to item F,
Yes, thank you. Or E, excuse me. Yes.
or item E, I'm sorry, excuse me, we just did F.
So this is actually the final plat for the eye care, and Mr. Carvano is here if you'd like to step to the microphone, sir. We discussed this with planning and zoning on Monday. Was it just Monday evening, Mr. Knight? Oh my goodness, it's sweet to sit right by me. So we discussed this with planning and zoning on Monday evening, and they recommended approval to council. This would allow them to get started on just that portion of the larger 8 acres that would house the eye care unit itself. So it's basically a smaller version of the final plat. You will find that in your packet under E, under 7.
The question is, does it meet the city's
Yes,
requirement?
it does.
It meets the city's requirements.
This is all ministerial, correct?
Pretty much. It's in the ETJ, so yes.
There's any discussion from council? No, if not, no questions. We'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I make a motion to approve the final plat, legal acres A 743 Smith CSL, 1.38 acres.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. All carried unanimously. All right, moving to item G, school resource officer opportunity with Northwest ISD.
Yes, sir. If you will look behind 7, tab G in your binder, I added some information that Chief Akinselli and I have worked on with our city attorney, which is basically an interlocal agreement, a draft of one that would be between the city of Rome and the Northwest ISD to provide a school resource officer for Chisholm Trail Middle School. The agreement is modeled after some of the other, I guess, contracts, documents that they have with other cities. I've customized it for something that would work for us that has to do with our city specifically. And then on the back, you'll notice there is a 3-page summary of the costs And this is what we would like to submit to the school district for their consideration pending Carbon's review. He just got it this evening. He's made some preliminary markups for me, but he may need a little more time. So if I can get it from him finally next week, then we can get it to the school district because they are on time crunch to try and get this before their school board.
He says it's
Okay, so it basically, gives us care and control over the officer. So they would be directly employed for the city of Rome under the direction of the chief of police. They would be assigned for the time when school is in session to the Chisholm Trail Middle School. And they would potentially float to some of the elementaries in the area. They would pay 70% of the costs. You will see, and that's for 70% of the payroll related costs. The others, like the startup costs, the others, the district would bear 100% in our proposal. So you can look, Chief Balcancelli's done an excellent job of putting that analysis together and considering all the factors. During the time that this officer would not be in school, we would reassign them to the city for additional manpower on the street. So we are basically getting another full-time officer within the city while we're sharing the cost with the school district and providing that service to them as well. So what I'm looking for this evening is direction on submitting this ILA back to the school district along with Chief Balcancelli's analysis so that we can start this process with them and that they can hopefully keep this moving in time for the fall school year.
So you don't need a motion. You just want some direction on whether we want you to continue with it or
If you
not.
have any questions, we're happy to answer those. I do think that he's done an excellent job in doing the analysis and considering all the variables that it relates to outfitting an officer. We've had some soft inquiries that there may be some folks who are interested in this position that would be a good fit. So that's very heartening for us to know that we might have some folks in the wings who are interested. And I think it'd be good for the city to partner closer with the school district on this particular issue.
I believe it's long overdue.
I think it's a great idea.
Is it your intent to go ahead and sign the agreement now?
It would be mine to make the corrections that you have and submit it to the school district and then see if they're going to approve or disapprove.
And that'll require council action to bring.
You, okay, so we're going to do a motion for that.
If you want to approve it tonight,
Well, from the standpoint, if Carbon's reviewed it, we're good with our numbers, Mayor. The only thing that we may need to do is there were a couple little things in here that I needed to fix as far as just general typos. So I can fix those based on Carbon's direction and then submit it to the school district.
Right,
for
so-
their review.
when it comes back from the school district, then the council can vote on.
Does that work, Carbon?
That's what I'm thinking. So right now, what I'm hearing from council is you have their authority to move forward with this, to present it back to the ILA, back to Northwest ISD for their review and approval or
Okay.
whatever they're gonna do. Then we'll bring it back for a vote.
Okay.
Is that correct? Okay.
Mr. Loftus, you have a question?
Yeah, so just to clarify, this was initiated by Northwest ISD.
Yes, sir, it was. It was initiated because the county is no longer going to provide an SRO to that campus. That is something that the sheriff's office has determined they had needs elsewhere. And so they, excuse me, they had talked with the school district several months ago, and we've been in conversation with them. Chief Balcancelli and I went to the school district's campus and we visited with their security team and gathered a lot of information. It seems like a good partnership for us.
Yeah, I just wanted to confirm because I thought I had read that in a little
Yes.
newspaper a couple of weeks ago.
You are
Thank
correct.
And would this be a situation where the school district could come back and go, oh, we can't do this, but we can do this? Would they do that or would they just go get everything?
As the costs?
Yeah.
They certainly can, but I do think what we've put together is very reasonable and affordable. It's certainly in line and lower than what they're paying other cities to partner for an SRO.
there's also a 60-day out. So if it doesn't work out financially or otherwise, then the city can get out of it with 60 days notice. Fairly benign.
Okay. From what I'm hearing, council, you give her the authorization to move forward? Okay. Thank you. All right, moving on. Item H in your packet is ordinance number 2026-07, regulating construction hours and noise levels. Amanda?
Thank you, Mayor. This is one that we've discussed previously that basically puts in place an additional layer on our noise nuisance type ordinance. We've discussed it with council. I took this ordinance and modeled it after surrounding cities so that we're not inconsistent with what other people have tried and found to have worked. It basically would prohibit construction, or excuse me, allow construction from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, on Saturday from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m., and not allow for said construction on Sundays. Then there are some further layers in the ordinance as it's currently written to prohibit construction-related noise during the hours of 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Monday through Friday, and then Saturday, 8 p.m. on Friday evening through 9 a.m. Saturday, and then Saturday night from 8 p.m. to 7 a.m. Monday. So it basically covers all the bases from the standpoint of you need to do your heavy duty construction during the daylight hours when the majority of our residents are up and about and going about their daily business. And then limit your noisy concrete construction trucks, hammering, building, etc., to the times when people are generally going to be more cognizant of it from the standpoint of, okay, I'm up, I'm doing my day, etc., etc. So this is something that I had talked to you all before about potentially bringing forward for consideration, because we do have a noise ordinance that is in place for general noise like loud cars, bells in the city, radios, etc. This is an additional layer if council is interested in considering that.
And the exceptions that you have to get a permit for those exceptions.
There are exceptions for concrete work, but they would need a permit because the last time this was, excuse me. The last time this was brought to our attention was when we had the school district pouring concrete at 1 a.m. And it was much closer to where people were living residentially and was a big disruption for them.
Okay, so from the hours of 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. And they're gonna have to have a special permit to work those hours?
Not those. If they decide to go outside them and say someone's going to come in and put in an HEB and they want to lay concrete from some standpoint, they'll need to come to the city if it's in the city limits, and they will need to request and state, we'd like to pour at 2 a.m. on Thursday
Okay,
morning.
I understand.
Well, that gives us the ability to notify residents if we grant the exception so that they're not just surprised in the middle of the night as well.
This is for contractors only, doesn't affect emergency services for the city.
Correct. This is basically aimed at construction related noise.
Right, right. Does this just in the city or is this ETJ, just the
Just
city?
the city. The city ordinance.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah, I can see your concern where, we have residents that live right at the edge of the city. And if it's happening right over the city limits,
right,
the sound is still affecting.
right.
So,
We're doing what we can possibly do
Correct.
to correct it within. Yeah, we can't repeat it.
Now,
Now,
we can do.
I got another question. We do use a third party. I mean, this is heavy construction. I've seen instances where inspections are due or inspections of infrastructure. We use Veritas, I'm assuming, for our inspections. Would it be up to them to go between 7 and 8 p.m. to inspect whatever they're doing?
Generally, we would rely on residential reporting if they're outside of the construction hours or if there is a nuisance that's been created.
No, I mean, if an inspector shows up to do some inspections, like at Jones Carter or something, if it's a big project.
Well, I think that's a little outside the scope of this discussion right now.
Okay.
That would be something
I'm
separate.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry, I'm overthinking.
So do you need, we need to approve this?
Yes, sir.
We do. All right, is there any further discussion? All right, I'll entertain a motion to approve the ordinance or disapprove.
I make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-07.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
Aye.
All right, thank you. That's unanimous. All right, last item on our agenda is ordinance 2026-08.
Actually, this is -10. I apologize,
Oh.
Mayor. We had to change that number. We got it out of order. This item is being brought forward by our city secretary that would allow us to designate one specific and dedicated email for open records, public information requests rather than us trying to round them up from all the staff emails and make sure that we don't miss any. This is something that she has done some research that is allowable, through the state, and we would start this official notification box, if you will, on October 1st of this year. Bit of housekeeping, but we do have to put it before council.
Yeah, it just, it's easier than having it go to somebody over here and they say, well, I thought you were doing it. No, I thought you were doing it.
Yeah.
If any discussion? If not, I'll entertain a motion to approve or disapprove.
I make a motion to adopt ordinance 2026-10, updating section 1.09.016 designation of address for public information requests.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
At this time, do we have any future agenda items to add to the calendar?
Yes.
Okay.
I have 3 specific agenda items that I would like to add to the calendar, with the first one being hopefully at the next meeting. The first one is to consider enacting a regulation to authorize residential occupancy permits in the city of Rome. And, the second one would be to establish loans to citizens who need to improve their properties, and have the city of Rome provide that loan. Third one would be to establish an abandoned property registry.
The one you were bringing up first was a residential occupancy. What was this now?
Yes, residential occupancy permit. We currently have commercial occupancy permitting, but not residential. And every place I've ever lived has that. And I walk around town and I observe structures that are substandard, where our citizens may be living in squalor. Some of these may be rented. And I don't think we need to allow that type of living conditions in our city. I don't think we will have an immediate effect, but over the next 10 to 12 years, I believe it will solve some issues within our city with structures.
I've got an agenda item when you guys are ready.
Go ahead.
I would like to get on the agenda next time for a little discussion for some water conservation for the summer. We need to really discuss it. I know last year, where's the customer? Walnut Creek, we went to a stage 4. And we need to, you know, I would like to have some discussions, some brainstorming of what we can do. And it's really not the city per se, but we need to get people watering their yards smart. You know, people tend to overwater with these irrigation systems. I really think that we should put have discussion about that, so at least we have something to fall back on when people are watering 4 or 5 times a day when we're at a stage 2 or stage 3, because people are not really educated on that.
All right. Thanks, Ms. Kite.
Yeah, I would just like to revisit our buildings that are no longer occupied and our land, just to see where we are, what we want to do, what future needs we may have for them, or if not.
All right, thank you. Anything else? All right, at this time, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
I make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All right, thank you. It is now 6:35. We'll adjourn.
Oh, one more thing.
Too late.